After many months traveling to Australia and Asia, we came home just in time to celebrate the Norwegian National Day, the 17th of May.
Tommy, you're a history teacher, so maybe you want to give some facts about that day?
I can for sure do that, my dear. And well, first I will start up with that I am Danish, and I came here when I was 8 years old. But I quickly became a big fan of that day. So we'll talk about that also, because it's very special for the children in this country. But first off, it's a special day in Norway. And it's part of it is because Norway was not our own country for a very long time. They were under Denmark for hundreds of years, and Sweden also came in and took over Norway. And it was always Norway that was the little brother in Scandinavia. So when Norway finally could be on their own, then they got their Independence Day on the 17th of May, and their own laws, and they could decide for themselves. And then they got to be a very proud people, and they are really proud still of their country, their nature, and everything they're very proud of, also in sports, and they're very proud of their flag and their national song. In Denmark, I'm pretty sure they still just have half a day off from work, and in Norway they have the full day off. So you can meet almost everybody, and everybody is out of the house and meeting up in, for example, the small town we live in. So it is the most crowded day of the year, and most people, like 99.7%, dress up in something of the best they have at home. And the very special thing that they dress up in, many women especially, but it's beginning to be quite popular and modern to have it as a man also. It's what you in Norway called bunad. It's an old, and you have a lot of different styles from each part of the country. That is a clothing from very long time ago. 100, 200, maybe 500 or 1,000 years ago. And they are also very, very expensive if you get the original one. And many times you have the mother sewing it by hand for maybe a year or 2 or 3 years before her daughter is confirmed, and then she get that. And then you have a lot of silver, so it can maybe cost
$10,000.
Yeah.
For the traditional one made with wool, with the shirt, and it has a lot of embroidery, and that is really taking time. I think that's the thing that costs as well in that, but they are beautiful.
We have a very good tradition that I'm not sure many countries have also. It is that we have a parade, and it's the children that are in the parade with flags and dressed up, and they sing some beautiful traditional songs about the country. And we have some orchestra playing, and that's in the morning usually. And in Oslo they walk by the castle and always wave to the royal family. So that's a tradition in Norway. And we also have later that day we have another parade where it's all sports clubs, political movements, and whoever I think that wants in the democracy to walk, maybe have a banner of some kind. And there's also a lot of speeches about Second World War, or how the democracy is, and things like that. And we celebrate the soldiers and other things. So a lot of cultural and historical things are happening. So it's not only the parade.
Yeah, it is like a very happy day for all Norwegians, and I really enjoy. We're always looking forward to celebrate 17th of May. I think it's so great to see all the people gathering and being so happy that they live in that country. Very different from what I experienced in Poland. I didn't maybe attend many like marches for our national day, and it's also in May. But it always felt different and felt more like focus on the politics and stuff. For sure, no kids parades. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, and it is a happy day in Norway.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy. And when it comes to how to celebrate, it's a lot of different ways to do it. Most people are maybe watching, if they have a child, they will watch the parade with their child. And many people also just watch it because everybody else are doing that in the morning and because it's so cute and so nice. Most people then at least then go home and maybe be with their friends or some family and eat some cake and some food. If you have a child, you usually also go to the local school, and then they are selling some different things like ice cream and sausages, and then they have some games and a speech and a song, and then most people then think maybe that's enough, but then other people then join for the parade later that day, and a lot of young people, especially young people, they have started a tradition maybe 20 years ago, is to eat breakfast together with friends and drink champagne. They call it a champagne breakfast. And then it's turned into that it's a lot of stuff in the newspapers that too many are then too drunk
On the parade
too early.
morning.
So when there's a lot of children in town, then there's a lot of drunk people around. Because before you maybe did that later during that day. And it's also a problem if you, for example, this year you have work on Monday after the Sunday. So then you have a party and then going to work afterwards. So it's maybe not the best way of celebrating that many do now, that it's a party with a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
That's not what it was before. So
I think it could be a cool concept to like gather with your friends in the morning, and now it's 17th of May, but they could maybe skip that champagne part.
yeah, well, breakfast without champagne. I don't know where it came from. Maybe someone in the comments, maybe from Norway, know where it comes from. It's for sure not from France, that they drink champagne in the morning to celebrate France. I'm very sure they don't have that tradition, but I have no idea actually. When it comes to food, it's a very strange tradition here. I feel if you are from another country, you must say that you can agree with that you have a sausage and what do you call it, a bun?
Hot dog.
And yeah, so it's a hot dog, but it's a wiener sausage. It's from pork.
Yeah.
And it's been usually in the water for a long time, so it's like a watery, not very fantastic sausage in not a very fantastic bun. And that is something you eat. Many eat many that day. You eat it in a kiosk there, and then you eat it there, and then you eat it when you come home. That is kind of the main meal that day for most people. And then you have another thing is that you usually tell the kids that just wait until we are having 17th of May, because then you can eat as many ice creams you just can be able to eat. So kids are looking forward to finally eat a lot of ice cream. That's kind of a part of that tradition, that you eat ice cream.
Yeah. Sausage and ice cream day.
Yeah.
It's a great combination.
And when you are gathered at the school, then you have a kiosk and you're selling those hot dogs and then the cakes.
Yeah. And this is the parents who are doing that. So parents are preparing, they are sharing who is doing what. So they are making those cakes or some muffins and cooking sausages. So they are taking care of that, and all I think the money that are gathered from selling those things are just going to some school activities, or right?
Yeah, usually, at least here where we live, I think the money goes to the kids going at the school there, so they can
kids budget.
Kids budget for buying footballs or something like that. And when you then come home to the family and eat more, we have a cake that is very, very often on the table, because mostly because it looks great. I said to my mom last 20 years, why are you still buying it? She's not making it. My grandmother, she always made it, and it takes a very long time. It's rings that goes to a kind of a pyramid, and we call it kransekake. And it looks great like this, and you have flags on it. and it's made of some nuts. What is it called?
I don't know what is it made of, but I don't like it.
It's kind of a dry experience
Yeah.
usually, and many people then put it a little bit in the coffee, and we have to have it because it's
Almonds,
our
maybe?
national
Is
day.
that almonds?
Almond cake, yeah. So it looks beautiful and it's not that popular, and then usually you have a chocolate cake and cheesecake maybe.
Yeah.
So that is the day, and usually I'm at least my feet are hurting because I'm walking around in a suit, and the shoes for that is not very nice walking in, and I'm full of stuff I shouldn't be eating. So usually we then lie on the couch and are really exhausted.
Suffering.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's
well,
every
need to
day, every
suck
time you look forward to put on the suit and walk around in town and say hello to people you know. So I always look forward to it. And to just mention, when we came home from Asia and Australia, we came home to the coldest day in May, maybe. It was really not nice for most of the part, and then suddenly it rained a lot also. So that was not a very nice time. We were like, should we just stand here a bit more in the rain, waiting for the children choir, because we're here, so we should see it. But that was not nice. But usually it's actually very nice weather in May, just on that day where we live.
I agree.